Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm super excited about this review for Season 4 of Fargo. And I'm a huge fan of the Coen brothers. If you ever watched anything where I talk about them on my channel, you'll know they're my favorite directors. And Noah Hawley just has been able to capture the life and the creative juices of the Coen brothers and funnel it into this anthology series. And the first two seasons I loved. The second season of Fargo is probably one of my favorite seasons of television. With Ted Danson, Patrick Wilson, I absolutely loved it. The third season was really, really good as well. Not quite there for me. And then this new season was very ambitious. It did something very different. We're off to Kansas City, Missouri, and dealing with the mafia. And the first episode is a history lesson of this town and the mafia there and the traditions, and really this episode doesn't really serve the main story of the season but sets up all the context that you really need, including their tradition of the two rival gangs trading children to raise to try to keep peace. And whether it's the Jewish mob, the Irish mob, the Italian mob, and now the black mob, them all trying to do their part to get ahead in this place. And that first episode really sets things up. Just from a technical standpoint, the directing is top-notch. The way they frame, they use specific cutting of frames. The music is just pitch perfect for the show. The cinematography, there's one particular episode that's in black and white, and it's starkly beautiful and works so well to capturing the feel of the episode. There's just so many great working pieces in this season, and you do have to think about, though, they're really trying to do way too much. There's so many characters and so many subplots trying to balance everything. Not everything gets its just due. And not everything is as interesting as it could have been. Because you do have Chris Rock, who gives a solid leading performance in this. You can tell some moments that he's a little wooden, trying to do the dramatic moments. And you have his main antagonist is Jason Schwartzman, Josh Stofada, who's this Italian mobster. And you would think that really wouldn't work. But his character is so slimy and just a little shit, honestly. He plays it so well. And then you have other, strange Coen Brothers-esque, just ripped out of a Coen Brothers script kind of character, like Jesse Buckley, who's creepy and unnerving and just weird in this show, and does it so well. From even her weird jittery walks, just everything about her is so well thought out and well realized. Jessie Buckley is such a fantastic actress, and she's just this Black Widow kind of nurse who's killing her patients and keeping little trophies. There's a young black girl who's kind of the audience's surrogate in some ways, trying to do a presentation on the history of this town, this area. And I feel like those parts with her and her framing narrative aren't as well fleshed out, which I felt like she could not have been just taken out of the show all completely. And then you have a variety, I forget the actor's name who plays the other Fado brother. He's just big and burly and just weird. And it works so well in such being a weird character. Jack Houston is this dirty cop who has a lot of issues with his OCD and trying to, which side is he really going to be on? Ben Winshaw is one of the real MVPs of this season as Rabbi, who is an Irishman who was brought up by the Italian mob, and he has one of the biggest consciences in this show and where he fits into it. Character Dr. Senator, who's one of Chris Rock's men, is such a great character and such a great performance. Timothy Olyphant is this marshal who's coming in looking for these two women who escape from prison who fit into here and there, and everything just kind of convoluted. But Timothy Olyphant is fantastic in this. He is such a good look. Big fur coat and like a flat brim hat. And he's a Mormon and has all these funny and quirky reactions and interactions with people. And then you have just this turning up of the heat throughout this first season. And when this season really gets going, it's some of the best Fargo. It's just a little hard to get there when there's so many moving pieces. And some of it could have been trimmed, some of it could have been left out, but this is still really inspired writing and directing and just creative force from Noah Hawley. And you have this building up to like the last couple episodes, just powder keg of craziness. It has that awkward, uncomfortable violence and just shock that so many Coen brothers films have, and this really does justice to the idea of Fargo. And by the very end, you see how this fits into the greater picture of this show. I really enjoyed this season. It's definitely my least favorite, but it's still great television. It's still Fargo. But those are my thoughts on Fargo Season 4. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.